Okay, so this is your, this is your equations that are on Delta Math this week. And so I just wanted to run through a few of them with you all. So the first one we have, remember you have to show your work and submit your work via paper or on the computer. Remember, you always start with distributive property. And remember, when you do distributive property, sometimes some of you all, it might help if you actually physically take this number and write it here and here and know that you're multiplying. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to do 6 times 2y, 12y, 6 times negative 9. So positive and a negative gives me a negative. 6 times 9 is 54. Equals negative 42. All right, now we're going to move some terms around. Remember, when we start moving things around, if we cross this line, if we go to the opposite side, so now we're going to move terms. You want variables on one side, constants on the other side. So if you move it over, then it changes the sign. So we're going to keep 12y here, because that's our variable. Variables over here. Constants over here. Negative 54 does not have a variable with it, so we're going to change it to a positive and move it to this side. Okay, and the only thing on this side is negative 42, so it's going to stay. So now I have 12y equals negative 42. Negative 42 plus 54 is going to give me 12. Okay. We combined our like terms. All right, now we are going to divide. So I'm going to divide by 12 here, divide by 12. Remember, you always divide by your coefficient. So y equals 12 divided by 12 is 1. Okay, let's look at that second one I have. It's worked the exact same way. So let's look at that. Okay, so the first thing, distributive property. So again, some of y'all like to put that 2 right above the number, so you remember to distribute both terms. 2 times 5y, that could be 10y. 2 times 2, everything's positive, so it's all going to stay positive, is 4. Equals 14. Now we're going to move. Okay, here's my variables, here's my constants. So 10y, oops, sorry guys. 10y is going to stay put because it has the variable with it. Positive 4, we're going to subtract 4. And then the 14 stays because it doesn't have a variable as well. So on this side, I leave my 10y is, and then 14 minus 4, I'm combining my like terms. 14 minus 4 is going to give me 10. And then I divide both sides by my coefficient. So y is same thing as earlier, 1. I don't think it's going to be 1 every single time, so y'all might make sure y'all work through it. Okay, again, rewind, rewatch, do what you need to help you better understand. And again, you can always shoot me videos or questions, emails, take pictures on your phone, take pictures with your camera, and send me an email if you're getting stuck at a certain spot. Okay, let's look at the next one. Next one, still work it the same way. You just have a few more terms involved. All right. Let's get it written out first. Again, make sure y'all show your work. Okay, so we're going to distribute first. So 2 times 3x. 2 times negative 5. So positive and a negative is a negative. So negative 10. Everything else stays the same because there's nothing else that we're needing to distribute. Now this time on the move, we've got a few more things to move. And what I like to do is go through each term. So 6x is a variable, so it's going to stay. Negative 10 does not have a variable, so we're going to move it over here and do the opposite. Positive 3x, it has a variable, so it's going to stay on this side. So it doesn't change sign. Remember, if it doesn't go across this equal sign, then it stays the same sign. Okay. Positive 3 does not have a variable, so we're going to move it, but it's going to do opposite sign as well. And then 20 is the only thing over here, and it's going to stay put with the constants. Okay, so now let's combine our like terms. 6x plus 3x, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we get 9x equals. Now we got to do 20 plus 10, which is 30, minus 3 is 27. And the last on here, we're going to divide. So always divide by your coefficient. So 9 divided by 9 is 1, which leaves us with x. 27 divided by 9, everything's positive, so it all stays positive, is going to be 3. All right, I've got one more of these on a different page here. I'll do one more for you all, and then hopefully y'all will be in good shape to handle this assignment. All right, again, make sure you write everything out, because you've got to show your work. Okay, so we're going to start with distributive property first. So we're going to take this negative 3 here, negative 3 here. Negative 3 times x, negative 3x, negative 3 times positive 5, so negative and a positive, I'm going to get a negative, and 3 times 5 is 15. Everything else stays the same because there's no more distributive property. Okay, now is where we want to move our terms. If it has a variable, it's going to stay on this side. If it's a constant, you guys remember all a constant means is no variable. It's going to move to this side. So each term, let's look at variable or no variable, variable, so it stays. Variable or no variable, no variable, so that means it's a constant, so which means we have to move it over, which means the negative 15 becomes a positive 15. All right, variable or no variable, it is a variable, so it's going to stay, since it's staying on the same side of our line. No need to change the sign. Positive 3, again, no variable, so we're going to move it over here. So opposites or inverse, so negative 3. Now we want to combine our terms. We have negative 3x minus x, so negative 4x, equals, we have 20 plus 15, which is 35, minus 3, which is 32. Okay. Divide by your coefficient. So we divide here by our coefficient. You keep the negative when you divide. Divide here, so negative 4 divided by negative 4 is 1. So we don't write that. So it had an invisible 1. Okay. Equals, positive and a negative is negative. 32 divided by 4 is 8. All right, good luck with your equations for this week. Everything's on Delta Math. On Delta Math, you have to get, so I have a set number of how many you have to get correct. So I think it's 8 this week. So once you get 8 correct, you're finished. But if you keep missing them, they're going to keep throwing questions at you until you get 8 correct. So again, if you're missing and missing and missing, but you've written down your work, take a picture of it, shoot me an email, and I'll try to figure out where you're making your mistakes at. All right, good luck.